Hey everybody, it's GauntletX and welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today we'll be playing another premiere draft of March the Machine. Without further ado, let's get into our pack 1 pick 1. This will be my first time getting to play a Planeswalker in this set since the early access. I think I got a Chandra one time, but now we get to play around with Archangel Elspeth, which is pretty cool. 4 mana for a 4 loyalty Planeswalker. You can +1 to make 1/1s with lifelink. You can -2 to put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature and make it an angel with flying. And then the -6 allows you to return all non-land permanents with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So pretty decent, pretty strong Planeswalker here. She can protect herself by making some creatures. She can buff up your creatures to make them really good flying attackers, or she can potentially ultimate later in the game, bringing a bunch of stuff back from grave. Seems like quite a solid card, and we'll try her out today. Alright, pack 1 pick 2 is going to be a pretty simple follow-up. I think Skyclave Aerialist is a great uncommon, and it is mono-colored, so we don't have to hop into some kind of 3-color deck to support it. You can spend that 4 mana and 2 life to flip this, so you don't have to be a green deck to make it work, and a 2 mana 2/1 flyer, already good. Slapping on a 4 mana ability to draw a card makes it pretty excellent. Happy to take a Skyclave Aerialist here. There's also Invasion of Arcadia, which I think is the next best monocolored card. I think this thing is just devastating when it flips. The Chiron Flamerite has some really nasty activated abilities, but I like the Aerialist a little bit better because it's definitely better on the front half and just a little bit of a more consistent card. So roll with the Aerialist to follow up the Elspeth. Pack 1 pick 3 now, we have Merciless Repurposing and Deadly Derision out of black, 2 exceptional instant speed removal spells. In blue we have Temporal Cleansing, which is fine, but I'm not going to take it over these 2 black removal spells. And nothing phenomenal in white. Both Bolas Slinger and Zhalfirin Lancer can be solid additions to white decks depending on what they're doing. The Bolas Slinger for any aggro deck and the Lancer for a Knights tribal deck. I think I would rather just take a Deadly Derision or a Merciless Repurposing here, because they're just exceptional interaction. Don't actually know which I like better. I think in a vacuum I usually like Repurposing better, but Deadly Derision is a little cheaper, a little easier to cast. That treasure token can help you out if you're doing any splashy stuff too, which is nice, but Repurposing is just higher power level. But 6 mana can be a lot. They're both just phenomenal. I'm going to go for the Merciless Repurposing. Maybe I overvalue the card a little bit, but it's definitely exceptional. Maybe not as good as Deadly Derision, but I'm still going to take it over that for now. For pack 1 pick 4, our blue rare is pretty meaningless. Our instants and sorceries cost 1 less, which is kind of cool. There's not a ton of counter spells in the format to get too much advantage off of the draw and discard ability. The white cards are okay. Knight of the New Coalition would be my favorite. 4 mana for 2 2/2s with Vigilance. It's your board state wide. Sunblessed Guardian is also fine. 2 mana 2/2 that can flip later to be larger. In red we have Volcanic Spite for some pretty good interaction. Nice and cheap. I think the best cards in the pack are probably Volcanic Spite, Knight of the New Coalition, and maybe Baral. But I'm not super pumped about that Baral. Might just take Knight of the New Coalition here to go with the Archangel Elspeth or the Volcanic Spite. It's definitely one of these. We'll stay open for now. We'll take a Volcanic Spite. Just keep taking the best card in each pack. Pack 1 pick 5 now. Not a lot going on here. Not a big fan of any of these black spells. Gloomfang Mauler's fine. Cycling in the early game and then big menace threat late game. An Invasion of Eldraine can be pretty good in this format in the right position. Like any Mind Rot, you have to draw it at the right time, but if you do, it can really mess with your opponent's game plan. Tiller of Flesh is pretty good if you have a ton of stuff that targets permanents, so a ton of removal spells like Merciless Repurposing, Volcanic Spite. I think that just in a vacuum I like Alabaster Host Sanctifier more this early in the draft. We don't have to build around it at all. It's just a solid 2-drop. Fits in anything. Definitely more tied to white than black. I think I'd take one of these white cards over Invasion of Eldraine. You know what? I'll take the Tiller of Flesh. See if we can get that thing to pop off. Pack 1 pick 6, strongest card is probably Storm the Seed Core for green beatdown, but I'd rather just take Skittering Surveyor as a card that can fit into our deck no matter what it ends up being, because we are not super locked in to a 2-color pair at least right now. Alright, now we have a Swordsworn Cavalier, which is great if you have a lot of knights, and Eyes of Gitaxias, which is just great in general in blue, a good value creature. I think I'll go for Eyes of Gitaxias, because while Cavalier does fit with our white cards, we have to have a lot of knights to make it good. We only have one right now. Take Eyes of Gitaxias. Doesn't take anything to make that card good. Ooh, Blighted Burgeoning pick 8 is interesting. This is one of the best ways to mana fix in this format. You obviously have to have green as one of the core colors of your deck, but being able to mana fix and get a little incubator to still be blocking and affecting the board is really nice. Do like that card a lot. Shadow the Source is okay, and I'm not super excited about any of the black spells here. They're all fine. I think Unseal is the best one, just because you can usually get back some really high value creatures late in the game. I guess Sunder the Gateway is also fine in white. We'll just take the Sunder here. We are more tied to white than anything else. 2 mana 2/2 at worst. At best, you get to blow up an artifact or enchantment and then get a 2/2 incubator. That's always a very good deal. Nothing much going on in this pack. We've got a Shatter the Source in red, which is fine. That's kind of it. I'll take the Shatter the Source here. Pack 1, pick 10, we have Converter Beast in green, Rouse Reinforcements in red, Tidal Terror in blue, all being fine cards. 2 pretty good cards deep into blue, 2 pretty good cards deep into red, 0 cards deep on green. Probably a coin flip between Tidal Terror and Rouse Reinforcements. I like blue generally as a color better than red, so I'll take the Tidal Terror here. Nice flexible card. Mana fixes you early in the game, or just comes out as a giant unblockable threat later, which is really, really good in any kind of board stall. We got a pick 11 Temporal Cleansing, which is huge. That is nice and late for that spell. We are happy to scoop it up there. Now I'll take a Heal Slasher in case we do get pushed to red. We'll have some more filler red cards. Take a Bond Warden. It's not looking super good. I'm not going to play a Furtive Analyst. We'll just throw a Scroll Shift in the sideboard, and let's see what we open up in our pack 2. Alright, pack 2, pick 1. We opened up a double black and a green rare. Not something super playable for us here. From the Multiverse Legends, we also got a green card, and it's not a super good one in this format. So nothing going on really outside of the rare or the Multiverse Legend. Or out of the rare Multiverse Legend slot. The uncommons are also pretty weak, even if we were in those colors. So we gotta dip down to the commons, and there's just Eyes of Gitaxias or Aerial Boost on color. Both of those are pretty great though. Off color we have Cosmic Hunger being quite nice. Unsteal the Necropolis being fine. I think I'll just go for a second Eyes of Gitaxias here. Really nice value play. Pack 2, pick 2, we get past an Ozolith, the Shattered Spire. This card's pretty nuts. 2 mana for an artifact, it's going to double up all the... Well, it's going to add 1+1/+1 counter to all of your +1/+1 counter production, so it's good for green-white. And by itself, it does sit there and put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature every turn for only 2 mana. It's pretty good even if you're not green-white. That being said, I could just take another Eyes of Gitaxias, and then we're like 100% tied to blue. And probably in white, but our second color could bounce around. We could do some splashy stuff. Eyes of Gitaxias is 100% to make the cut. Ozolith probably a 30 or 40%. I'll go for the Eyes of Gitaxias here. Pretty locked in on blue in this draft. Not a ton going on here. Pack 2, pick 3. So Vanquish the Weak and a Shatter the Source for some medium removal. Kind of it. Not a huge fan of Invasion Murgonda. It's a lot of defense and a lot of mana up front. Render Inert can be fine. Not super exciting, kind of narrow. Maybe I just take a Bola Slinger here. Solid white aggro card. Halo Charge Scap has some really fun combos it can do. Without combos, it's just an okay filler card, though. We don't have any of the combos. We'll just take a Bola Slinger, I guess. Now we could take an Alabaster Host Sanctifier, a Stoke the Flames, an Expedition Lookout, Ichor Drinker, an Overgrown Pest, a bunch of premium commons out of this pack. Also an Inga Rune Eyes, which is a solid uncommon. Gives you some card advantage, some card selection really when it enters the battlefield, and it could give you some card advantage when it dies. We got 3/3-drop creatures basically. We could take Inga here. Alright, here's a bunch of incredible blue cards. Norn's Inquisitor looks really good for this deck. Not only is Norn's Inquisitor going to be a 2-mana 1/1 that comes with a 2-mana 3/3 attached, just all by itself, it's going to buff all of our Eyes of Gitaxias to make them 4/4s instead of 3/3s, which is very good. So Norn's Inquisitor looks incredible. And that card single-handedly has just made me much more excited about sticking to blue-white, even if it's not the normal blue-white Knights strategy. Our strongest cards are definitely in blue and white now. Now we have kind of a difficult pick, because I think whatever we take here is something we might try to splash off Skittering Surveyor. It's Halo Forager versus Sculpted Perfection. The Sculpted Perfection buffs all our Phyrexians and our Incubators and stuff. The Halo Forager is just going to be a creature and a removal spell all in one, which is really good. I think I'm going to go for the Halo Forager here, because even if things don't go super Phyrexian-y, it's going to be pretty strong, although things are very Phyrexian-y right now. I don't know, we're pretty low on interaction, so being able to have something at 6 mana maybe to hit the board and recast a piece of interaction from our opponent's grave feels pretty good. Now we have Alabaster Host Intercessor. Speaking of interaction, this is a land cycler that can also hit the board late in the game and exile any creature until it dies. We're happy to take that. Now there's a Cut Short versus a Meeting of Minds. Hard choice, but I'm low enough on removal. I think I take Cut Short over Meeting of Minds. Usually Meeting of Minds is the strictly more powerful spell. It's just better for the mana cost. More consistent, you can just always cast this, whereas Cut Short, you need to be in the right position. But I have like no removal, and I have a Tiller of Flesh really wanting me to target some permanents, so I think I need just the targeted removal spell of Cut Short here. Okay, we're probably almost definitely cutting this Oculus Whelp. Pretty much an empty pack here for pick 10. Converter Beast is the only card I'd be excited to play, and I'm definitely not in green. Aetherborn's like filler enough, Kite Sail and Rod are filler enough, but they're all pretty bad. Just throw a Converter Beast in the sideboard. Alright, pretty similar, nothing I'd be excited to play. We'll take the Halo Charged Scab. Now an Expedition Lookout. Not really going to work out super well, just because we don't have a lot of cards that mill both players to fill out our opponent's graveyard. So it'll just be a 2-mana 2/3. Defender. Ooh, well, Progenitor Exarch is pretty much perfect for what our deck has ended up doing. We have a lot of Incubators to flip with the Eyes of Gitaxias, and we have some cards that can make them even bigger with Norn's Inquisitor. And Progenitor Exarch is just another card that's going to fit that theme. It's going to give us a bunch of Incubators to flip, and it's going to help us flip our other ones just by tapping itself. So Progenitor Exarch looks beautiful here. Love to be able to take an Afara's Dispersal or Realmbreaker's Grasp for some interaction. I would definitely take Dispersal first for the efficiency and the setup, but we'll have to take Exarch. Maybe we can wheel Corruption of Tawashi to draw a bunch of cards, or one of the great pieces of interaction here. If we don't wheel any of those, maybe we wheel Wrath, since we might be the only person in blue-white possible. Now we have a Heliod, but we don't really have any enchantments that'll end up in our graveyard, so not going to be the greatest Heliod ever. What we have that is a lot more exciting is a second copy of Norn's Inquisitor. I think that's exciting enough with this much Incubate token production that I'm going to take it over the Realmbreaker's Grasp, despite being kind of lacking in removal right now. I'm still going to take another Norn's Inquisitor, because that card just looks, again, exceptional for us. Alright, we can grab some interaction now. Afara's Dispersal is a premium one for just the pure mana efficiency you get off of this. Sure, you're not dealing with that whatever you target forever, But you can often cast this for only 1 mana and you're setting up your draws while you do it, which is incredible. So we'll take the Afara's Dispersal there. Pretty much nothing in this pack. Could take a Gloomfang Mauler for a Swamp Cycler, but don't know if I'm ever going to have double black to cast it. So at that point, I might as well just run an 18th land and have the 18th land be a swamp if I end up running this. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to play a Tarkir Dune Shaper, a Scroll Shift, a Moment of Truth, maybe a Disturbing Conversion if I'm really lacking on removal. I feel like I should probably still take Gloomfang, but I guess I'll take Disturbing Conversion. I'm going to talk myself out of it. Another Bola Slingers, whatever. Nothing else we'll end up playing. Another Skittering Surveyor could help if we really want to play the Halo Forager. Don't really need to. Although just getting more mana for X mana cards like Progenitor Exarch can be nice as well. Yeah, just drawing a card, drawing a land there. Seems decent for the Skittering Surveyor to do. Cyber Cryptomancer, nice protection spell. Keep one of our Norn's Inquisitors on board, that's a pretty important card to protect. Progenitor Exarch, I guess already does everything on ETB. We don't have a ton of cards we really need to protect, but I think I'd rather run a Cryptomancer than an Angelic Intervention. They do kind of the same thing, except that Cryptomancer also comes with a 0/1 body. Right now we can take a Meeting of Minds for some card draw, and that seems pretty fine. We got a pick 9, Afara's Dispersal. Let's go. Give me the interaction. All right, I'm going to cut this Oculus Whelp now. I think I might just cut this Halo Forager. I guess we could cut Halo Forager and double Surveyor. I want to cut Lookout because we don't have a lot of mill. Invasion of Dominaria is pretty hard to flip, but pretty powerful if it does. Could take Stasis Field if I'm really wanting interaction, but I'd rather just take Invasion of Dominaria, I think. All right, Shapecraft that I don't think I'll play. Don't know if I'm going to play Dominaria, but I don't think I would play Stasis Field either. The Bola Slingers don't really look like they fit too much in here. This is a weird deck. Just kind of blue-white, decent spells, decent cards. Need to cut 3 cards out of here, some combination of these. Cut the Dominaria, the Conversion. One Bola Slinger. Do something like this for the curve. Looks pretty fine. Alright. Blue-white Incubate with an Elspeth in the back pocket to pull out at an opportune moment. Seems decent. Yeah. I mean, just kind of built the deck throughout the draft there. I think this is what we're going to end up playing. That's going to be the deck. Alright, here's a look at the final deck we're going to be playing today. It's going to be a very interesting one. We are in blue-white, which is usually a Knights-themed deck, but instead we're just playing a bunch of decent value cards, primarily around the Incubate mechanic. We've got 3 Eyes of Gitaxias and a Progenitor Exarch to make a bunch of Incubators that we're flipping late in the game for solid-sized creatures, and a couple Norn's Inquisitors to get +1/+1 counters on all of the Incubators that we are flipping, as well as give us some cheap little eggs to flip early in the game. Outside of that, we have Sunder the Gateway as well for another Incubator, and then a bunch of just solid spells in general. Afara's Dispersal, we've got 2 copies of, and a Cut Short for interaction. We have Temporal Cleansing as well to slow our opponent down. Alabaster Host Intercessor in the late game to exile a creature. Bunch of solid stuff on curve with Skyclave Aerialist, Bola Slinger, Tiller Flesh, Halo Charge Scab, Tidal Terror, all that kind of stuff. And some Skittering Surveyors to make sure we keep hitting our lands to get to large X mana spells and 6 mana cards like Exarch and the Tidal Terrors. And all of that. Outside of that, we've got our 1-bomb Archangel. Well, not our 1-bomb. Progenitor Exarch is pretty bomby too. But we've also got Archangel Elspeth, a 4-mana, 4-loyalty planeswalker that can spit out a bunch of life-linking soldiers or start putting counters on our creatures and making them flying angels. So let's see if we can't get some work done with this Archangel Elspeth here as we head into the gameplay and see how the deck does. Here we are on the play for game 1. We get to start things off with a turn 2 Skyclave Aerialist. Start chipping in the sky. Playing against a red deck, no play, turn 1. The Merfolk Scout has landed. So we're playing against Boros, red-white. Send in the Aerialist and Cryptomancer if they try to remove it on an attack. If they don't, we'll just Eyes of Gitaxias. Main phase 2. And pass the turn. They've got 3 mana up now, and they're going to cast a Kithkin Billy Rider for a 1/3 double striker. So what's pretty nice here is I can just flip this egg, block the Billy Rider, and if they don't use a combat trick to win that combat, then we'll just eat it up, and if they do, we can dispersal it in response. If they try to use a removal spell on our egg after we flip it, we can use a Cryptomancer. There's a lot of ways we can make sure that our egg block works out super well. So go for the block. They're going to go for a Mirren Banesplitter. That will auto-equip to the Billy Rider, making it a 3-power creature. With double strike, I can just dispersal the Billy Rider now. And set up my draws. I do want a 6th land for Tidal Terror. I kind of like playing Surveyor holding up Cryptomancer, so we'll play the Surveyor to get the 6th land. I guess I can put the land underneath since I'll shuffle anyway, but it's probably good to mill a land out of my deck. So yeah, next I'm going to go land, Surveyor, still holding up Cryptomancer. Alright, so they recast the Billy Rider now. I guess I should have played Surveyor and then the land so they wouldn't know that I have a 6th land. But I don't think that matters too much. Alright, keep that aggro going. Hitting for 5 this turn, they are down to 11. And now if they want to put the Banesplitter on their double striker, they gotta spend 3 mana, which is quite a lot. They are gonna do it though. The Billy Rider has the Banesplitter. So I can chump block to stop 6 damage, or I can let it through. They potentially hit for 10 if they have a +2 combat trick. There's no trick that gives lifelink in this format, so I'm not that worried. I'll just take the 6 to 10. And it is just going to be 6, and then they'll play Pyretic Prankster. Okay. Pass to our turn. Play our island now. Send in the squad, drop a 5/6. What's the worst case scenario? We're at 14 here. Worst case scenario, they have a removal spell for Tidal Terror and a buff for the Billy Rider. I guess if they play the active treason on Tidal Terror, we would die. I suppose I can play it safe and hold our 1/2 back then, so I don't die to the steal effect. Gain control of a creature till end of turn. Hit me with it. Because they are still dead on board next turn. I can kill them with Tidal Terror alone, because I can use Cryptomancer to put a counter on it, and then tap 2 creatures to make it unblockable. But there's the seal from existence, so that's not going to happen. They are going to pass turn here. Now we have a Norn's Inquisitor. Do I have the mana to flip Aerialist and hold up Cryptomancer after I play Inquisitor? No, so I'm not going to do that. We'll just attack with Aerialist, holding up Cryptomancer. Drop Inquisitor, holding up Meeting of Minds and Cryptomancer here. Pass the turn. If they try to kill the Aerialist, we can Cryptomancer it and then flip it next turn to make it 4 power, because the Inquisitor will put a +1/+1 counter on that as well. So there's an Elesh Norn from our opponent. They can't immediately flip it though, so I think they will still die if they don't have removal for Aerialist. Okay, this is fine. I can get a free chump block here, because the Elesh Norn triggers whenever one of our cards deals damage to one of their permanents, we'll have to pay mana or lose life. If it's getting first striked away, then it's not going to deal damage. Plus, I just have the mana to pay at this point, if I needed to. Let's flip this Incubator, and let's Meeting of Minds. Hit another Norn's Inquisitor. So just put a second Inquisitor on board and then flip the Aerialist, still holding up Cryptomancer if anything bad happens. Seems perfect. Yeah, that is perfect. So just by flipping the Aerialist, it's going to be 4 power now. And I get to still have Cryptomancer up. In case of disaster. Alright, no disasters are going to happen, and even if they did, that backup Cryptomancer feels very nice there. So we're going to start off 1-0. Just flew right past the Elesh Norn. Here we are in game 2 with a real solid curve. We have Aerialist into Surveyor, Surveyor making sure we keep drawing lands for a big late game Progenitor Exarch. Our opponent is on the play this time, so turn 1 Tranquil Cove from them. We drew into a Norn's Inquisitor, which we can use to get some creatures on the ground or buff the Aerialist in the sky again. I think I'm just going to play the Aerialist first again. Swordsworn Cavalier from our opponent. Does leave me a little bit tempted to play Norn's Inquisitor. I'm not in love with trading Inquisitor and Cavalier, but I think it would probably be worth it if they don't give it first strike, since they are on the aggressive here being on the play. You could probably just wait a turn and try to trade a Skittering Surveyor into it though. We'll get the flyer out for now. Take my 3 damage. Zerda the Dawnwaker, that can shut off a blocker every turn. But anytime they do that, obviously the Zerda isn't attacking, so. Shut off Skittering Surveyor from blocks. But then Skittering Surveyor has still functionally stopped 3 damage by stopping Zerda from attacking us. Next turn we're probably going to go for Inquisitor and flip, so we have something to trade off into Zerda or a Cavalier. Alright, well, show me the combat trick. They use a combat trick to beat a Skittering Surveyor. I think that's a pretty good deal for me. Well, not if it's that one, since that combat trick does draw them a card to replace itself. Okay. Here's the Norn's Inquisitor, so that we have a 3/3 blocker. At the point where I hold the Aerialist back. Block, trade, take 2. All they need is like a bola slinger or something to make things go really bad for me, so I think I'm going to hold it back here. Feels like the kind of game I'm not going to outrace them. I need to focus on trying to stabilize this board and then dropping a really big Progenitor Exarch for the victory. That's where we try to turn things around. So here's a Tiller of Flesh, which is a Knight for the Swordsworn Cavalier to get a free attack in this turn. They could attack with Cavalier Sanctifier, and then when I flip my egg, they can tap Zerda to make it so it can't block. It's their best on-board attack, I think. I'm just going to tap out to Temporal Cleansing this egg. This only targets creatures, doesn't it? Yeah. So can't Cryptomancer that. Yep, and they get to incubate 2 here. We'll put the egg on second from the top. Well, that was pretty bad. At least it stopped all their damage, but them getting an incubator off that's uncool. Another Inquisitor, so this one's going to be a 4/4 now. Well, 4/4 is super legit. But of course they do have the Zerda to stop the 4/4 from blocking. So Exarch can make 5/5s if all our Inquisitors are still around. So yeah, attack with everybody, lock down the 4/4 with Zerda, I think would be the play. Six damage here. Take 6, I'm down to 5, but then I could flip Aerialist later and it would be like a 4 or 6. But I have to shoot myself for 2 more when I do that, so that'd put me down to like 3 against multiple 3-power creatures. I think I need to just cash this in on a trade. Hey, Elspeth. Elspeth Cryptomancer for the turn. Then we Progenitor Exarch and start flipping 5/5s, protecting Elspeth. Seems decent. Right, I'll have 4 blockers up, one of which I can make sure is a 5/5 that gets around Zerda's ability. One of which is going to be a lifelinking chumper. And then later I can reanimate all my non-land permanents with 3 or less mana value, which is going to be an Aerialist, a Skittering Surveyor, probably multiple Inquisitors, because I can just start chomping with those now that I know I can get them back later. If we protect Elspeth. Okay, Eyes of Gitaxias for our opponent. We'll draw them a card and give them a 3/3 egg. Alright, Cryptomancer should mess up their blocks, or mess up their attacks this turn. Giving us time to slam down the Progenitor Exarch, which I think I want to hold 2 mana up to flip 1. I mean, I guess if I do this, I have 6 blockers. Yeah, I have 6 blockers against 5 attackers. I can just dump all my mana into this, incubate 3 times. Considering holding 2 up to be able to flip one of the incubators immediately. But if I just make sure Elspeth doesn't die, I can just trump block with everybody and then reanimate them next turn and then start flipping all the eggs. Like, I don't need to keep Elspeth around if I can ultimate her next turn. That should be game-winning enough. We'll have a bunch of 4/4 and 5/5 eggs all over the place. Boonbringer Valkyrie. That is filthy. Who needs 1 Baneslayer Angel when you can have 2? Attack us. Do they have the combat trick for victory? Maybe just trying to kill us with Boonbringer Valkyrie. We are dead in 1 hit to the Valkyrie. Yeah, and even if I reanimate a flyer, Zerta can stop 1 from blocking. I think that just kills us. Just get Boonbringer Valkyrie out of it. Yeah, I can reanimate my graveyard, then I have 1 flying blocker that they shut off, or I can make one of my creatures a flyer, then I have 1 flying blocker that they can shut off. I guess I have to make Cryptomancer a flyer. That's my only option right now, which means that Elspeth isn't going to be able to ultimate. If I do anything else, they're just going to shut off my 1 flying blocker and kill me. That is really unfortunate. We need to draw something pretty sweet after getting Boonbringer Valkyrie here. Alright, the game swings back into opponent's favor. Elspeth looking like not enough. We do have interaction in this deck. If I hit any of it to deal with the Valkyrie, we could be okay. The dispersals are pretty bad, but Cut Short and Temporal Cleansing would be fine. Alabaster Host Intercessor would be great. So Cut Short and Intercessor, ideally. The draws that we're looking for. Got a ton of Eyes of Gataxias and a Meeting of Minds in the deck for card draw to help try to dig there. These are all the outs that we're looking for. Inga Runais is not gonna do it. We can scry and see if we would have gotten there, but we can't draw what is on top of our library. Well, there was a temporal cleansing coming up. Too late now, though, because we can't put anything in the sky with hexproof. I guess I have to make a lifelinker flying. Okay, I guess it's not completely too late now. I can gain 3 life and then take 4 and go to 2. Maybe I should have done this last turn. Instead of chumping with Cryptomancer. I think that would have been better. Send that in. Be at 6 right now? Yeah, this would have given me more time. That was probably the route to victory. I guess it puts us in a position where they just stop attacking and then we stop attacking them, but then Elspeth could maybe grind it out. Yeah, I didn't see that line of lifelinking up or making one of the lifelinkers a flyer. That obviously would have been for the best earlier. Instead of just getting a chump. I guess they would have just killed Elspeth last turn if we did that, which leaves us in basically the same spot, but we'd have a little bit more life. Top deck another flyer. Well, I've got a 3/3 lifelinker. Don't love cleansing on the Valkyrie because they can recast and get the backup trigger again, but it's the best I have here. Can't block it with this 3/3. 6 life. 8 attackers. Could send a 5/5 in, but then they block with a 3/3 and a 2/4, but then I'd kill a Zerda. Block with a 4/2 and a 1/1 or something. That's also still fine. Well, that's pretty good. Removal is the card in between the Boonbringer Valkyrie. So we don't have a flyer anymore. Drawn to a Skittering Surveyor, they Boonbringer Valkyrie us for 7. Buff the Cavalier into the sky and Preening Champion hits as well. I can gain 1 life off of attacking with my 1/1 lifelinker in a chump attack. And then I theoretically have 1 more turn. Not the tightest plays at the end of this game, but Boonbrinker Valkyrie sealed our fate either way. But that is something definitely to keep in track for future games. With an Elspeth on board, just going for the +1/+1 counters and flying on the soldier can buy us plenty of time. We don't need to minus just to get a chump block off. So we should have put it on the soldier there. Because Zerda can only stop from blocking, it can't stop from attacking. So we could have been a little bit more life and maybe had one more turn this game overall. Highly doubt we were beating a Boonbringer Valkyrie though. Yeah, Intercessor's too late. We don't have any flyers. So I just exile Valkyrie, take 2, go to -1. Yep. My only hope here is they make some really, really weird attack that lets us kill the Valkyrie and then I can exile the 2/2 flyer instead or something. If they make a really weird block against my attack. That's bold. Take 15 to the face. Okay. If I had Inspired Charge, I could have put them to 1. Yeah, we're dead. One and 1, heading into game 3. Here we are for game 3, trying to get a lot of work done off of Afara's Dispersal. Got a Surveillance of some lands. We're hoping our opponent can actually curve out reasonably. We do play a Norn's Inquisitor. Being able to dispersal a token is always nice, so if they go for the flip and attack, that'll be excellent. They just attack with Inquisitor, I'm not doing it. Attentive Sky Warden. Alright, I'm happy to bounce that one. Be happiest to bounce a token, but bouncing a 3-drop's also pretty good. Wow, alright, well. No planes 12 cards deep at this rate. Phyrexian Censor, my least favorite card in the format. Super annoying design. Flip the Incubator now, they've got a 3/3. Beat us down to 11. Drop a Furnace Gremlin. Get a 2/2 and a 3/3 here. Could go Inquisitor, then this 3/3 is a 4/4. Which can block and kill one of their creatures without dying. This could be instant speed removal for Inquisitor. They send everybody in. Or it could be like a Stoke the Flames to shoot our face or something. Yeah, alright. Maybe I should have just flipped this last turn to get around instant speed removal. But it looks like they don't have it for Inquisitor at least. really don't like losing Inquisitor. With Sunder the Gateway in hand and a 2/2 Incubator on board, that could be 2 3/3s next turn. Yeah, I'll take all this damage. It's 5 on board, 7 if they double buff the Gremlin. Five damage it is, we're down to 6, and there's a War-Trained Slasher for a big menace dork. Not wonderful, I would say. Not wonderful at all. Just flip all of these right now. Pass from there. Well, this looks like a Stoke the Flames or something. They have to double buff the Gremlin to kill that 3/3. Let's see what they've got. Well, on board that looks good for us. Into the Fire is what they have to deal 2 to everything. Okay. They are in red, so they could have haste, but theoretically, all they've got right now is a 1/1, which I can block with a 1/1 from Elspeth. This might be greedy, I'm just gonna go for it. They have to play a big haste creature and a removal spell to kill Elspeth. I guess all of the burn spells in this format can shoot planeswalkers as well. So if they have the 6 mana Convoke one that does 6 damage, if they get to that mana cost, they can just one-shot Elspeth there. Happiest trade of the day. Trade into the 1/1 Protect Elspeth. Ooh, 1/1 Lifelinkers are going to look great in this match. That's not a knight, is it? No. So if they don't have any knights in hand, then just block with a 1/1 again. Seems pretty nasty. Yeah, let's get the Scry and potential card draw here. Oh, wow. Oh, wow, these are all great. Exarch plus Inquisitor is quite the combo. I already have Temporal Cleansing for interaction next turn, so we want to just Exarch next turn. Got 6 mana, that'd be X equals 4. Well, X equals 2. It's fine. Then we play Inquisitor and start flipping things, and then we play Intercessor. That seems right. Could also just Meeting of Minds after blocks. And then do whatever I want. In whatever order I want. So play the Attentive Sky Warden. And that's going to be it. Let's Meeting of Minds. The flyer could be a bit of an issue. I don't really want to ultimate Elspeth with one creature in my grave. So it's either make a 1/1 or make my own flyer to block this. I could also just play Intercessor and exile the flyer for now, which is fine. Try to get Elspeth to be able to ultimate and stay on board later. It's like a little greedy, but I kind of like that. I still got the temporal cleansing for later. And they're just going to scoop it up. They are over it. We are going to be 2-1 now. Elspeth doing some really good stuff that game. Did not have to worry about as many flyers as we did last round. So 2-1 heading into game number 4. Here we are for game number 4. The Norn's Inquisitor party continues. We are on the draw again. We've got Inquisitor and Aerialist. We've got Inquisitor plus Progenitor Exarch, which could be nasty too. Playing against a blue-black deck this time. They're going to start things with a Xerox Strobe Knight. Which I really don't want to deal with right now. I dislike that enough to just cleansing it. Because I can spit out 2/2 Knights every time they cast 2 or more spells in a turn. Just make an entire army. Let's just slow it down so by the time they replay it, we can just Intercessor it for a little while. They'll definitely have removal to kill Intercessor at some point, but slowing it down for another turn seems fine. Because whenever they kill the Intercessor, it'll hit the board with Summoning Sickness after that. Alright, let's get an Aerialist attack in. No response. Drop a Norn's Inquisitor. And that is going to resolve. Pass the turn. Maybe they have like a Deadly Derision up. They just wanted to save it in case we played a better 4-mana creature. But now they'll Derision one of our cards. They're going to Derision the Inquisitor over the Aerialist. I just think they must have a better way to kill small things like Aerialist. Tetsugu and Kairi. That's a nightmare and a half. Does this trigger when it dies specifically? Yeah. 5-mana 5/4 flyer that brainstorms is already super deadly. It's also going to make me lose a bunch of life and maybe cast something for free. Need to get to 6 mana to exile this. Definitely not exiling the Xerox Strobe Knight anymore. Can't attack into that at all because it's gigantic. Yeah, that's going to completely lock things down for a little while. Until I can drop Intercessor, and if they have removal for Intercessor, that's just going to be game. Just Exarch for 2. Pass. Flip an Aerialist and draw a card. Let's just Exarch for 2. Pass the turn. The Strobe Knight returns. An Oculus Whelp. Here's the boatload of flyers. Well, now they're tapped out. For like One turn, we're going to have Hidetsugu and Kairi exiled, and then they'll probably removal spell our Intercessor. I should have flipped a 3/3 and attacked with that as well. Forgot about the Exarch bonus text here. We can still flip a 3/3 during their end step, so it's not like we're going to lose out on that mana cost reduction of being able to flip something for free, but we are losing out on 3 potential damage here because they don't have good blocks for the 3/3s. Okay, they are going to trade into a 3/3. So yeah, we're losing out on 3 damage that would have got in. Yep, there's bounce spell for intercessors. They probably have a counter spell to follow it up. If they didn't have a counter spell to follow that up, I wouldn't have expected them to do that in the main phase, because that is an instant speed card. So they could have waited till the next time we attacked and then bounced our intercessor and had a surprise 5/4 blocker. But if they're just running it out confidently like that, I think they're just trying to get a little strobe knight value and then hold up the counter spell to counter the intercessor when I try to recast it. Gift of Completion, they can hold the 2 mana up for the counter spell through that. Make a knight. Could have poked me for 2 and then made a knight, but I will take it. Makes me feel a little less bad about hitting them for 3 less damage than I could have, because they hit me for 2 less than they could have. So we're balancing it all out. Show me the counterspell. Nothing I can do about it. Could also be Saiba Cryptomancer on Hidetsugu and Kairi. Alright. I guess they were just going for strobe knight value then. Entirely. And that's why they went for the main phase instead of during my turn. I guess if they waited till my turn, I also could have had my own Cryptomancer up or something like that. So do it while I'm tapped out. I have been poked by a strobe knight. Alright, cut short is the draw. Not very good against the vigilant strobe knight. They're at 11 life. A 5 power unblockable creature does seem kind of legit. 5 power potentially unblockable creature. What happens if Flitting Gorilla dies? They get like an Oculus Whelp or Baral on top. I think I can send in the 3/3. Should kill the Knight token. So I don't have to worry about them milling something better here. Alright, there is the Tidal Terror. Kills them in 3 attacks, but I only need to hit them with 1 other card to kill them in 2. Could be anything, as long as it's hitting for at least 1 damage. Alright, play an Aetherblade Agent and flip it, fair enough. Let's draw some Meeting of Minds cards. 0 mana draw 2 always feels pretty good. Any reason for Halo Charge Scab? Pick up a Temporal Cleansing. Still have the mana up for Cut Short because I can Convoke with the Scab. I mean, it seems fine. I think I'd rather just draw off of Eyes of Gataxias. Get another Eyes of Gataxias? Sure, let's draw again. Afara's Dispersal. Dang, I was holding the 1 white up so that I could Convoke off of blue creatures or colorless creatures for the Cut Short. Guess I should have held the blue up though. I guess I actually don't have enough creatures to Convoke the Cut Short. Yeah, I definitely should have held up the blue. I think I just hold up the 3/3 to trade in the Mind Stinger, if they send that in. Another Aetherblade Agent. Another flip. Pass the turn. Three, four, five. Can't hit for lethal here because they can just block my biggest creatures. Tidal Terror is not unblockable unless I tap 2 other creatures. Let's go Tiller of Flesh. Free flip. I've Cut Short and Dispersal up. Alright, they've got 1 turn to find an out. And they do not find an out. That is going to be game in our favor, making it through that Hitotsugu and Kairi with just a big unblockable Tidal Terror and some Incubate value with Progenitor Exarch. We are now 3-1 heading into Game 5. Here we are now in Game 5. Pretty sweet hand. Got some expensive stuff, but one of them is a Land Cycler to help out. Eyes of Gataxias is our first draw. Could have went for Tidal Terror here to guarantee a turn 3 Eyes of Gataxias, but I like getting this power on board. If I don't draw land, I can still Tidal Terror next turn. Just skip out on the Eyes for now. Light Reaper Thalids. We've both got some excellent 2-mana flip cards to play out here. We did naturally hit the land for Eyes of Gataxias, so I'm going to run that out. This card would be so good if it was an instant, being able to hold up a Cut Short or Eyes of Gataxias based on what happens. Would have been beautiful. So playing against a green-black deck with Blight Reaper Thallid hitting us for 2. And an Elvish Vat Keeper to double up all of their incubation for 5 mana. They can make their incubators twice the size, which is pretty nasty. Let's Island Cycle the Tidal Terror, so I can still play land for turn. I could flip my 3/3 and attack with it, or I can't hold up a Cut Short unless I don't attack with Aerialist, which I think is just not going to happen here, so let's send in the squad. Alright, they're down to 13. Send in for 5. We are also down to 13. Perfectly even and balanced game so far. Now a Wary Thespian hitting the board as a 3/1 that surveils 1. We do not have any good blockers for that. It's actually a really good stat line on this board. They're going to mill a backup Death Touch card. Now a Finn the Fangbearer. We draw into an Inga Rune Eyes. That seems pretty good here. We set up the draws with the Scry, and then when they attack in with everybody, we just make sure we trade off twice, and we'll draw 3 off of that. I don't need another island, I need another plane, so I'm going to ditch that island and the Eyes of Gataxius and just keep Intercessor on top and hope to trigger Inga for the draw 3, and if we don't, we can cycle Intercessor and hold up Cut Short. Not an excellent place to be, but that's our backup plan, is holding up Intercessor, Cut Short. 2 mana to get a plains, then we have double white and a blue up, so we have the Cut Short. Feels like a losing position if that's how it's going to go, but if we can get an Inga trade-off to draw 3, then we could be in a solid spot. Okay, well obviously can't if they only attack with 1 creature. So instead, do I 1-for-1 trade or just pass through? I'll just pass through here. If they do a measly just 1 creature attack again next turn, then Cut Short actually does look decent. Okay, Invasion of Zendikar, so they have 1,000,000 mana. Cycle the Intercessor to get the next plains. So now we have the mana for Elspeth, or I mean just anything in the hand next turn. Send in the Aerialist, put them down to 9. This is going to be a nail biter. They've got a wider, more powerful board state, but got a lot of stuff stuck in our hand here that could start being pretty powerful if we can find a way to start dumping it out. Problem is they're going to have an easier time doing that with the ramp they just got off of Invasion of Zendikar. Skyclave Aerialist has been a real MVP this game, dealing the vast majority of this damage. So if I trade my 3/3 into Thespian, next turn I can play Elspeth, get a 1/1. Play Tiller Flesh and still have Cut Short mana off of Convoke. Maybe that's the play. Tiller Flesh, Convoke a Cut Short. Actually don't love Elspeth on this board state. We can try to find lethal with Elspeth soon, but not yet, because we can use the -2 immediately. Just making a 5/5 flyer. It's not lethal, but it would be lethal in 2 swings. But then I die on the crackback, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I would die on the crackback if I go for an Inga attack right now. Cryptomancer as the draw. Don't have the mana up to really do that alongside anything else, so I think I Tiller Flesh holding up Cut Short. Hit for 2 with Aerialist. I should have waited on Tiller Flesh till main phase 2, that was loose. Now if they have interaction for Aerialist, I don't get to Cryptomancer. Okay. Alright, if they weren't going to do anything until our end step, then we were just going to cast Tiller Flesh, so at least that panned out fine. But we'll see if they've got the instant speed interaction. If they do, we might be dead. If they don't, then they're dead. It all comes down to if they have a Cosmic Hunger right now or something like that. Alright, I think that means we're dead. Because I don't get to hold up Cut Short anymore without Inga on the board for the Convoke. If they flip the 2/2, we can block the 3/3, take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have to have some other way to kill us. I guess no, the Vat Keeper can flip for double. Alright, Tandem Takedown definitely kills us. Alright. 11 damage. Bummer. Game was really close. Because again, I could have just Elspethed and buffed Inga that last turn, and they would have been at 2 life right now. I guess they had a Cosmic Hunger to respond to that, but if I survive past this turn, then, you know, Elspeth buff up the Tiller Flesh finds a lot of damage to them. That was the lethal plants. What are they doing? I guess the game continues. They had lethal on board against 1 open mana. The greed, wanting to flip that battle. Yeah, all they had to do was flip their egg and hit me for 11. We would have been dead right now. Actually, no, just 11. Kami doesn't trigger when they flip. Just when they hit the board. Alright, the greed doesn't matter. They had a gain 5 life in their hand. But our opponent did miss lethal, so there's a slight moral victory for us there. But we're very dead. Alright, here we are for game 6. Opponent on the play. We are on the draw. We've got an aerialist to turn 2 again. We've been drawing that pretty consistently, which is nice. One of our best ways to start the game off. Invasion of Amonkhet. Best battle in the format. Ridiculously good card. Drawn to a Norn's Inquisitor. Love to have a 4th mana before I just dump that out, so let's hope off Eyes of Cataxius we can work our way there. Didn't hit a land off of it naturally, but we might hit one off the top next turn that we wouldn't have hit if we didn't cantrip that. Well, that is completely disgusting. Invasion of Amonkhet into the render inert to flip it on a Tidal Terror here. Seems very powerful. Let's go Inquisitor. And attack for 2 past the turn. We're holding up Cyber Cryptomancer or Cut Short or flipping a 4/4. Oracle of Tragedy is their play. Draw a card, discard a card. Pass the turn. Alright, if they're going to do that, we'll just flip a 4/4. Ooh, Elspeth, hello. Hello. I'd ideally like to wait till I have 6 mana. So I can use Elspeth to turn something into a flyer and hold up a Cryptomancer. It kind of seems like they didn't have any interaction right now. So I'm tempted to just make this 4/4 a 6/6 flyer. I really, really want to hold up Cryptomancer and do that. Probably trying to find an opportunity to Meeting of Minds to dig into lands. So let's go flip this Incubator where they can kill Inquisitor, and then we just Meeting of Minds next turn during their end step. I guess I haven't played a land this turn, so I could Meeting of Minds right now and I just take 1 on the crackback. Sure. Alright, play a land. So now I just need to draw 1 land card to play Elspeth and hold up Cryptomancer. Boom. They could have Artistic Refusal now, though, but I can't get around that. I guess I could play like a Bola Slinger, which is still quite powerful and forces a counterspell to stop them from taking a million. Sure. Still plenty powerful for the turn, I would say. Go Aerialist here. Deadly Derision. Alright, we'll have to Cryptomancer now. And now we're just gonna run in there, pants down, naked, throwing the Elspeth on the board with no protection. Ooh. They breached the multiverse. Please don't pick up a flyer. I'd appreciate that a lot. Pick up an Alabaster Host Intercessor. Wow. And a Luris. I can't kill them. That's so irritating. Maybe I can kill them with Dispersal? No, 3 attackers against 2 blockers. I do have the mana to play Dispersal and Archangel Elspeth. Oh wait, no, Bola Slinger ability. Bola Slinger ability, maybe I do kill them. So we can Dispersal the Intercessor, and then +2/+2 this, so we hit for 5 guaranteed, attack with Bolusling or tap Luris. I think we do get there.
So long as I draw breath, hope will never falter.
5 guaranteed damage. Tap the lifelinker. And that's 6. Alright. I thought they got there because they hit a removal spell and a lifelinker. But Boluslinger for the tap coming in hot. And Elspeth for the flying. Still going to get there in the end. We are now 4-2, breaking even off of the Premier Draft no matter what. Technically down 100 gems, but up 3 packs. So that's what I call the breaking even point. So pretty happy with the draft no matter what happens from this point on. But we'll see if we can't keep the win streak going heading into game number 7. All right, pretty excellent hand here again. Norn's Inquisitor with Exarch is nice. Having the double Norn's Inquisitor to go with our Progenitor Exarch does make this an even more powerful rare, which is really sweet for this deck. Get an Intercessor. Ooh, that's not ideal. Deeproot Wayfinder, if it hits us, could be ramping them up. They mill a land and then put it back into play. I think I'm actually just holding up Afara's Dispersal at that point. Have them recast that and we get to set up our draws. I'll draw land next turn. Play that and then Skittering Surveyor. Preening Champion is the play. 1/2 body actually looking good against the 1/1 elemental token. Let's go. Skittering Surveyor value. Look how big you are, Skittles. Stopping that elemental. Uh-oh, double Preening Champion? That's a heck of a way to start a game. Well, that's not wonderful. I'll just flip this now. Against removal for Inquisitor. Make sure we get all the counters on this thing. Down to 14, we're getting Preening Championed out of here. Now a not Vold Hermit that could flip and make a Preening Champion a 5/5 every time it attacks. That is damage right there. Do I Cleansing that? I have to tap most of my board to Temporal Cleansing the not Vold Hermit, but not all of it. Just tap 3 of the 4 creatures. Just put a counter on itself. They're going to put it back into the library. Alright, let's get an attack in here. Take 2 more on the crackback. To hit for 3 this turn. We have an Intercessor to play next turn to exile whatever we need to. Yeah, this is a game I'm just going to have to find as much damage as I can on the ground as quickly as possible. We're just taking 4 in the sky every turn no matter what. Kills us in 4 swings right now. If they hit us for 6 damage this turn, it kills us in 3. Oh my god. Well, Storm the Seed Core was going to get us pretty bad, even if I didn't take that extra 2. That's still dead in 2 swings. I guess I could have intercessored 1 preening champion and then maybe not died this turn, but yeah, Storm the Seed Core is gonna absolutely kill us here. No flyers to block. Could have gotten 1 more turn, I guess, if I didn't attack through the elementals. Would be at 6 right now. Exile 1 champion, take 4. Storm the Seed Core. I've died to a lot of that card. Good old Overrun doing its thing. 4 and 3 it's gonna be. Not a bad run at all for this deck. Seeing it as a little bit of a an off-meta strategy. It was a really fun one, though. One of the things I do like about the format, there's enough like specific build-around sort of cards that you can find yourself in strategies that aren't really designed for the color pairs. Like, again, blue-white, vast majority of the time you're supposed to be blue-white knights, but I think in this draft pod, the strongest place to be in our color pair was definitely more of an incubate-style deck, with the Norn's Inquisitors to go with all of these Eyes of Gitaxias that we were getting late. That was super sweet, and the Norn's Inquisitor to go with the Progenitor Exarch as well, so really kind of a Norn's Inquisitor deck today, which was pretty fun, pretty powerful. Obviously didn't get us a great record, but 4 and 3 is certainly nothing to scoff at, and yeah, not bad at all. We beat an Elesh Norn, beat a Hitotsugu and Kairi. We lost with Elspeth on the board. We won with Elspeth on board. We did all of that bomby March and Machine nonsense. Winning against some bombs, losing with some bombs of our own, not doing enough. Pretty wild games, pretty wild stuff overall. But yeah, fun day of Magic. Not too much to say about the deck. It was pretty unique, pretty fun. Outside of that, just another day of Magic. Some solid stuff. 1,400 gems and 3 packs will be the prize, but that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons very much for supporting the channel, as well as thanking you for watching. If you're interested in seeing some more videos like this, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you're interested in catching me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. And if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. Outside of that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.